I was astonished. I must have stared at it for nearly a minute, simply lost in wonder, before terror awoke inside of me, as sudden as the crash of a gun. I jumped from my bed, rushed to my mirror. At the sight that met my eyes, my blood was changed into something thin and icy. I had gone to bed Henry Jekyll. I had awakened Edward Hyde. How was this to be explained, I asked myself. And with another great start of terror, how was it to be remedied? It was well on in the morning. The servants were up. All my drugs were in the laboratory. A long journey, down 2 flights of stairs, through the back passage and across the yard. It might indeed be possible to cover my face, but what use was that when I could not hide the change in size? And then, with a strong sense of relief, I realized that the servants were already used to the coming and going of my second self. I dressed as well as I was able, in clothes of Edward Hyde's size. I passed through the house, where Bradshaw stared and drew back at seeing Mr. Hyde at such an hour and in such odd clothing, and 10 minutes later Dr. Jekyll had returned to his own shape and was sitting down, pretending to have an appetite for his breakfast. This strange happening frightened me, I must confess. I began to reflect more seriously than ever before on the issues and possibilities of my double existence. That hidden part of me which I now had the power to call into existence had been much exercised in the past few months. It now seemed to me as though the body of Edward Hyde had grown stronger and taller, and I began to see a danger. If I gave him too much liberty, the balance of my nature might be quite overthrown, and the character of Edward Hyde become mine for the rest of my days. The drug had not always worked successfully. Once, very early in my experiments, it had failed me altogether. Since then I had been obliged on more than one occasion to double the amount, and several times, at risk of death, to take 3 times the quantity I had first thought necessary. Now, however, and in the light of the morning's accident, I saw that where, in the beginning, the difficulty had been to throw off the body of Jekyll, it had of late been the other way round. All things, therefore, seemed to point to this, that I was beginning to lose hold of my original and better self, and becoming slowly more and more absorbed with my second and worse.